Wahabi and his crew, they were there.
Take your wounds, this.
Those boys say their occupation as to smoke when they come there. Now I don't know where they say again. They only work when they get to do for their life, smoke. Now, time for work, don't reach them, we don't see them again. No, this one I can't smoke.
Oh, make you boy, you know, but no, man.
They shout and they shout. They go demolish and what they don't come in.
I know, Jay.
So that was them. Few days before this flood of, I don't even know if I should call it a flash flood. Because, yeah, that was days ago, prior to this. Now, maybe it is not all gloom and doom, except for the propaganda that is much like the driving factor of whatever data these guys put out there. According to Kolu and their latest report, inflation in Nigeria is dropping. It has now reduced to 20 point something %. And they believe that the cost of living is also reducing, even though people still groaning and you get. They said they have made more money compared to what it was in 2023. In one of their Meet the Press sort of presentation today, the guy who is the tax man, Okolu Adedeji, said in 2023, when Kolu came, around the same period, talking about at the end of the second quarter. End of second quarter means end of June 2023. The revenue generated by FIRS from all front and what have you was somewhere around 766 billion naira. Compared to what it is in 2025 under the same period, where they have now generated over 3.7 trillion naira in a space of 8 months, meaning they have managed to squeeze you of more money. But before we even get to that, I mean, considering the state of the country, the economy itself, right, where the guys are bragging of taxing you to make more money. However, the value of the money itself, 700 billion in 2023, sounds small compared to now. But in value, it's pretty much more than that 3 trillion that they are happy about today under a different circumstance or different circumstances. Now, let's take a look at what they have generated and what they intend, because their plan is that by the time the tax law becomes effective in January 2026, they intend to actually generate more, because with this over 500% increase in the space of 2 years, that means Nigeria is getting better. Nigeria is growing. And in that sense, they reported that Nigeria's economy is growing by over 4.1%. That's on paper far more than what it was under Bokwari on paper. But they are proud of their achievement, because to them, the way it is going with this more money, right, they are going to meet the target of not only reducing the inflation in the country down to 15%, right, they will also grow the economy by 6%. A very positive thing to see on paper. But their own selling point is, if you think it is just on paper, give it time, right? People will feel it. But now let me explain something to you that most economists will likely not agree. Well, I am a layman. I am not an economist. Okay? So, Thiefnubu and this gang, right, who strongly believes that they have, what do you call it? They have so much money raised in this, and their plan. Also have what you can call the most indebted regime, who have managed, right, to doctor their data so well, right, that, they are listing debt as part of revenue. You know what I mean? They are making so much money, according to them, which ordinarily should, by any means, reduce their borrowings. Because the reasons why what they called on paper will still get back to you, you're going to feel it later, right? It's simply because there's so much mismatch. But let me say this, what they called, you will see it or you feel it later, is that, when they came in, okay, a liter of petroleum was officially somewhere around 170 naira. So was so many other things that later skyrocketed when they removed the subsidy. They went borrowing, they valued Nigeria naira, and everything happened so fast that the economy, or your economy, received the worst shock that you are yet to recover from. So what you will feel later is that, now that you are buying a liter of petroleum for 800 or 900 naira per liter, right? A bag of rice for 80,000 and all that, right? So if you begin to buy a bag of rice, for example, for 65,000 naira, to them, That's great achievement. If a dollar is now exchanged for 1,200 naira, that's economy is recovering. Like you are feeling it now, Abi. So forgetting the fact that it was somewhere that you considered very tough back then, and they promised to probably reduce your burden, but now they are like bombarding you with economic jargons to make you accept the current reality that you are not going back to that one. If you get any little bit lower than what you have now, you should be grateful. In fact, you should begin to line the street to say thank you to these guys. This is their own, is getting better. You will never go back to what you thought was tough back then until you get into this one, right? I mean, sorry, before you got to this one, right? That's what they mean by getting better. Now, making so much money in this sense, for example, as Adedeji put it, making so much money now is meant to probably show that Nigerians are willingly paying more taxes. And in that sense, IMF or World Bank conditions, which is the base of your economic policy of Thiefnubunomic, should begin to be untangled. No, they are still queuing up for over $21 billion, the loan they put forward for this year to next year. And then you're like, but you are projecting to be making more money from this. Shouldn't that? No. The conditions for these loans is that they have to tax you more and to assure them that they have the capacity to pay whatever loan they want to give to them. Now, it's already packaged, done, delivered. They are waiting for implementation. So they are addressing the people to, on the one hand, tell them that the policy of Thiefnubunomic and other is kind of like stabilizing the economy and blah, blah, blah. They're making more money. Look how much money we make. And that will sound so great to you, especially if you are jobless and you've never really paid a dime. They've never squeezed you of a penny that they ended up having to, spend on themselves. But here was Adedeji when he was addressing the press, among others from Thiefnubu's camp.
If I just do a snapshot of a month, because this is not total, I just pick a month, which is comparable month. In May 2023, which is the first month that we have, how much did we collect from NNPC that month? You will see it's nil, negative. Even as at then, we were owing NNPC subsidy payments and many other payments they said they've done and and that is what you see when I say negative outflow. It's just that I don't want to put how much as at that time we are owing NNPC, including traders that are bringing in products that we are being subsidized. And that is why we cannot thank the president enough for that courage to actually put us on a sustainable path that can actually lead to development. If you look at UPRC, which is royalty collection, you will see that it's 125 billion. In September, it is 745 billion. The increase is roughly 500. And that is oil production increase that I mentioned when I was giving you. I'm putting figure. And why this one is important, most especially for us here, is to understand. I will not say people should not do politics or being political, but for you, that you have it as a duty to actually educate people to know that we are here just to a little bit more than 2 years, and the decision that we've taken rightly, this is the result. If you look at oil, which is tax, you see the increase. But when you look at the total accretion to federation as at February, May 2023 is 711 billion. That is what we made. As of September, which is last month, you see the total accretion is 3.6 trillion. That is increase of 411%, which is just as a result of the economic reform decision that Mr. President has taken. And then when you look at this, You will say, oh, how? What happened? And that is what you hear. Whether you are in state government and everything, go check. I was Commissioner of Finance before. They used to come to Abuja to say bailout for them to be able to pay salary, not infrastructure. I don't know, you are the one writing paper and everything. How many of these state governors have you heard that they even come for bailout, even loan? Because if you look at this one, there is no state government, including federal government, that are not collecting more than double of what we've had.
No, that's the performative thing they have to put out. And you just sit down there and be like, okay. And then when you say, okay, where is the money now? They will tell you to go and ask your governor. Go and hold your local government responsible and all that stuff. So next year, they are looking forward to making more. The non-oil sector in that graph, when you consider all the money they put in that graph, you realize how declined Nigeria has been in the last 2 years of Thiefnubu. Because all you have to do is just say, okay, how much is 3 trillion naira today? That is $2 billion. Yeah, that's how you are going to understand this, okay? This is how much they now make from oil, from tax, from this, from that. All right? 3.3 trillion. So that's practically like $2.1 billion or $2.2 billion. Then when you go back to the time they made 745 billion, as it's quoted in that video you just watched, a dollar was 420 naira to $1. So do you know how many 420 naira you are going to see in 745 billion? Let's do the math, roughly. All right. So let's say $420 million. No, sorry. $1 million would be like 420 million naira. Abi? $1 billion would be 420 billion naira. Abi? So 40 billion. 420 billion. Again, that would be 2 billion. So that would be like 840 billion naira will make 2 billion. Okay. And then you remove the difference, right? So roughly I'll say $1.7 billion. Okay. So that's the difference. 2.2, that's $500 million a difference from the devalued naira. So imagine if naira wasn't devalued the way they did. 3.3 trillion naira could have been somewhere around $6 billion. Just saying. Anyway, that is their progress, the one that they squeezed you off, so to say. But, okay, no wonder they needed more $1 billion. That won't be enough. Their budget is 50 trillion naira. So 50 trillion, which is right somewhere around 28 billion dollars. So that's why they will need to borrow more. Now that is clearer. Which kind of democracy be this? Professor Wakunda, somebody want to say something?
I cannot bring my friends and make them minister PASA. No. All my ministers must come from the parliament. We are all elected together. You understand? So now president can appoint 48 ministers from anywhere.
That's the current system.
That's current system. But parliament system, you are in parliament. The prime minister is in parliament every week. He's a bona fide member. Now you have someone him, they put the bill there. Now you have someone, the president come and talk to him. If you don't summon him, he will not come.
You're talking about what we have in the UK.
And what you have in the UK, the prime minister, who is the head of government, is in parliament every week. Any question coming about military affairs, about better edu, about anything, you ask him point blank, televised.
What differences will that make to the one we have now?
Accountability, implicit that you can be questioned. But this presidential system, CFR, FSR, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, everything, you just put yourself in the villa and you don't come out. You travel, you don't hand over to anybody.
Do you think that the president is going to, because he said he should emanate from the executive?
Yeah, it's
Do
better.
you think that the president will want to put together that kind of a bill and send it to the House?
We have the draft already. We have the draft already. It's nothing. It's not. We have that. It's just for him to agree that I want to be a statesman, and I want to really change the course of Nigeria for the better. And all we have been doing 1999